For some people, black magic is a way of life.
You're putting yourselves into something you don't understand.
For Agent Scully, it could be a terrifying way to die.
They warn you once. After that, no magic can save you.
Welcome to Most Unwanted, an X-Files podcast. This is the 43rd episode of this podcast, and I'm joined, as ever, by Luke Costin. How are you today, Luke?
I'm good. I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
I didn't know where I was going with that.
I'm feeling good.
More singing.
More singing.
We need. I feel like we sing too much in the intro.
In the intro?
Well, just in the show, in large.
I don't feel like we sing enough. I've got a lot of podcasts where... Well, not a lot of podcasts. I've got a few podcasts where they sing a lot.
Okay.
And I don't know why I like it.
But can they sing? That's the problem.
No, they can't, but that's why it's good.
That should be your gimmick.
What? I can't sing?
No, I'm the news broadcaster, the serious one. You're the singer guy.
And I sing the intro every time. Hello.
You sound like you're starting a barbershop quartet.
Let's do it. You can't really do it with two people. We're going to try. Ready?
Okay.
Hello.
Welcome to...
No. That's not the way it works. Okay, we'll practice and we'll do that another time.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
So, this episode is late.
It is a bit late, yeah, unfortunately.
And why is that, Luke?
Well, I had to become the good son.
Yes.
The good son. Basically, my mum and dad were meant to be going to a Wolves game, which is the local club to me. It's actually the club that I support. And basically my dad couldn't get there because he was stuck at work. So I got asked to go to that.
As the dutiful son.
Yeah, so... I mean, to be fair, it did have its perks that I got to go and see him.
Yeah.
So, it was good.
Never a bad night. It's just you put all of our listeners second to your mom.
Yeah. I'll tell her next time. Sorry, no can do, Mom.
But did you have a good time?
Yeah, it was good. It was a good game. A bit cold in the stands.
It's the only problem with football in the winter, isn't it? It's just so... It's like big concrete stadiums. Like, it's so freezing.
That's the thing. A bit of wind comes through and you're like, this is freezing.
Yeah.
It weren't too bad, to be fair.
It's fine if you're winning. If you're winning, it's fine.
Yeah.
If you're losing, it can be miserable.
Yeah, and for about 94 minutes, it was not great. But it was a good night, and not much more to say, really.
No, sounds good.
It was a draw. It was a draw.
I've got something to say.
Okay.
Right. I've found
Danzig then.
I found a new passion.
All right.
I've fallen in love with Netflix documentaries.
Okay.
Honestly, I just can't get enough of them right now. And there's so many decent ones on there, but I like the crazy ones. I like the ones where you're just watching them and it just gets crazier, and it's like you can't appreciate how bad it gets, and then it gets even worse.
They always amp up more and more to the point where you're like, this can't be real.
Almost. Honestly, there's two that I recommended to you off air, but I will recommend them to you again, so our listeners know. Definitely, it's called Fire: The Festival That Never Happened.
That's the one on Netflix, isn't it?
It is. Both of these are on Netflix.
It was directed by... what did he do now? The American Movie or something like that.
I don't know. I didn't look into who directed it.
He's like not a well-known, but he's like a well-known indie director, I suppose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I've not seen anything about it apart from that it's
phenomenal. It's just so mad. And it, like, again, this festival that actually never actually happened. It was doomed from the start, and it's just about how they promoted this and what the idea was behind it, and like how they knew it was imploding before it actually went ahead, and then it went ahead, and like there were people turning up. Oh my, it's crazy.
One of the descriptions someone said to me was that it basically is Lord of the Flies but real life.
Yeah, there's honestly, like, it's crazy how quickly civilization died on that island.
Yeah.
Like, people was all out for themselves. Like, I will spoil a little bit for you, but like, so they turn up and there's no luxury villas, there's no mansions, there's no yachts that was promised. It's all like these hurricane tents, right? And they were just told, no one was told where to go, so they were just told, find your own tent.
Yeah.
So there's this swarm. There was literally kids saying, right, we don't want anyone around us because people were setting fire to things and people were looting. So they ended up trashing the tents around them. So there wasn't enough tents for everyone anyway. And people were trashing the other tents so that they didn't have... Honestly, it's insane. Like, and the things that the people who organised it went through, phenomenal. But the second one I wanted to recommend to you was one I actually watched last night, which is called Abducted in Plain Sight.
I've seen it on the recommendations and the trending now. So
I just, like... it's just literally about this girl that gets abducted twice by the same man.
What?
Like, it's a horrific story.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I'm laughing, because like it is really dark.
Yeah.
But like the things that happen, and you're just like, how are you letting this happen? Like, honestly, give it a watch. And I recommend everyone else to give it a watch. And if you watch it, let us know and let me know what you think, because I am fascinated by all these at the moment. I'm just itching to find another documentary like it.
To be fair, now you've watched two, it'll just keep recommending them to you anyway on Netflix.
Exactly. I don't want serious ones though.
Yeah.
I literally like the ones where I have to turn around to whoever sat next to me and going, I don't believe what's happening here. This is insane.
Have you seen the one about Ted Bundy?
I've watched that. Yeah.
Is that good?
Really, it was a bit more serious than the others.
Well, yeah.
As you can imagine.
Yeah, I can't imagine there's too many laughs in a Ted Bundy documentary.
What's interesting, I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't know that much about him. There's a lot of people like, we're going off topic straight off the bat here.
That's classic us.
Classic us. But like, I was talking to Jem, because Jem loves all the, like, sort of true crime stuff. She listens to all the podcasts and whatnot. And I'd heard Ted Bundy's name. I knew who he was and what he did. Didn't know that much about him. So I found it really interesting. And another one I don't know about is Charles Manson. I know he's like a terrible guy and goodness knows. I don't really know what he did. Like, Jem said to me...
Like a cult leader, basically.
Well, that's what he said. That's what Jem said. Because Jem, my fiancée, I was talking to her about it. And she said, oh, you should watch something on Charles Manson, because he's fascinating as well. And I said, he's a serial killer, isn't he? And she goes, well, he didn't actually kill anybody. He got people to kill for him.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to figure out what this... Because I don't know, you know what I mean? I just sort of hear bits and bobs and just sort of put a story together myself.
That's the thing. There's so many times where you don't know the full facts and you just... The amount of films where you think you know exactly what the plot is and then you watch it and you go, that was nothing like it was. I thought it was.
Especially when you was a kid.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, this is completely different.
When I rewatched Forrest Gump, I was like, I didn't know she got raped. I was like, what? It was so traumatic. I was like, what? Because I watched it when I was
this lovely story that you had when you was a kid.
Yeah,
of the guy meeting a president. And what a happy life.
I was like, oh, he's a good runner. And I didn't know it was so dark. I was like, what's going on? But
great film, Forrest Gump.
Yeah. But
should we do our Forrest Gump impressions?
No.
You're right.
I could err on
Jenny.
No,
that's the way people can do that impression. Can they? Did you hear the panic setting in my voice? Is that okay? We'll see. We'll see what the backlash we get.
See what it makes in the edit.
Right. I think we should talk about X-Files.
Probably get onto it. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it. On with the show. I forgot to put the catchphrase in before.
I like how you've made it your own catchphrase now.
And no one calls the catchphrase, only me.
Yeah.
Like I'm forcing it.
You're like your own Little Britain sketch, basically.
That's a niche reference for anyone that's...
I don't know.
Well, actually, should we talk before we get into the show?
Yeah.
Should we thank our friends in Australia?
Oh, yeah, forgot about that, yeah.
For the first month in the history of the podcast, Australia was people from Australia downloaded the most episodes of our podcast.
Yeah.
It's been primarily USA for the majority of it.
Yeah.
USA, United Kingdom, but USA's been top of the list most of the time.
most of the time.
But Australia pulled it out of the bag in January.
I got the feeling it's one person who just keeps re-downloading.
Oh, he just loves the one episode.
Yeah.
What episode
or he's
would
doing
it
us
be?
a favour, one or two. He's like, I'm going to help these guys out.
That'd be nice of him. Or her, I suppose.
Yeah.
What episode? If you had like a person that was obsessed with one episode, what episode would it be? I think Trinity was a really good episode of ours. The vampire one.
Oh, okay, right. Oh, of ours. There's one in season 1.
The Jersey Devil.
I don't know if it was that early on. I think it was later on where we just got started getting weird.
That sounds like every episode.
Yeah, I like it when we get weird.
Yeah, it is fun. I like it when it's a bit quirky and kooky. Yeah. I love your edits. I love it when you just edit stuff in.
I mean, let's be honest. This one's probably not going to have too many edits because I've got to do it in a day. So,
whose fault is that?
Well, yeah, I know. You never know. I might sneak one in.
Next episode.
Yeah. It's going to be like an Aphex Twin song. You'll be like, what is going on here?
But let's get on with this show. No more tangents.
No more.
Straight to business.
Well, strictly business. That's what we are. Yeah.
That's what we do. Yeah. So this episode, was actually episode 15 of season 2. And it was titled Fresh Bones. What?
Nothing. No, I
You looked at me like I got it wrong.
It is correct, but for some reason I thought it was called something else. Bones. I don't know what it was.
What did you think?
I don't know. It's like in my head I had spooky bones.
Spooky Bones. So this episode was entitled Spooky Bones, and originally aired February the 3rd, 1995. Written by Howard Gordon and directed by Rob Bowman. So should we get into the episode?
Start away. That's my catchphrase.
At least mine makes sense. We start off in Folkestone, North Carolina. Basically like this residential estate that we see first off. And we see a sleeping woman, and she's awoken by a crying baby. She realises her partner's being sick in the bathroom, and she goes to check. And she's asking how he is, and he just dismisses her. Basically, he comes out really angry, doesn't he? Straight off the bat.
Straight away, yeah.
Tells her that, can't you see the baby's crying? And he starts getting dressed, starts punching the wardrobe. I'm like, what's going on here?
Straight away from the dog tags, I knew there was going to be some kind of like PTSD kind of story. It didn't turn out that way exactly, but I thought it was going to be some kind of like military man who's seen something.
To be, doesn't it? Yeah, Every time we've seen a soldier, especially like a soldier that's a victim, it's turned out to be the military getting up to something, and these are the side effects that are happening to the soldiers. Yeah. The woman's feeding the child downstairs later, and when he comes down for breakfast, she asks if he's had those dreams again, and tells him he thinks she should go to the doctor, to which he would just basically replies, I just want to eat my breakfast in peace.
I also like to eat my breakfast in peace. Not that aggressively, though.
Oh, is Tash not allowed to talk when you're having breakfast?
No, we're allowed to talk. It's fine.
Just not about menial subjects.
Strictly breakfast.
Like this podcast, strictly business at breakfast time. We should have a breakfast time recording. Maybe, yeah. Get a bit of toast on the go.
We'll have to see after WrestleMania, because we might have to early morning. So.
I love it. God, if we did that, I reckon that'd be the best episode, because we would be so tired funny.
It would be delirious, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think it'd be the best episode for us. Yeah. I think no one else would understand what we're laughing at all the time.
The edit would be ridiculous. I'd be like, what are we talking about?
So, he starts eating his breakfast and then hallucinates that he's eating a bowl full of maggots.
This just reminded me of What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
With the spaghetti.
He spits it out, runs out of the house, and obviously his partner's quite distressed. She's calling out for him. So he runs to his car, takes off, speeding down a country road. I knew exactly where this was going as soon as, you could see, the way it was shot, the way it sort of really emphasised how fast he was going. You could tell what was going to happen. And he looks in the sort of rear view mirror, should I say, and seems to see his face sort of burnt or without his skin on it or something like that.
It looked like it was rotting away or something.
Yeah, something really, really strange, all red. Yeah. Looked like it was the muscles behind his skin. And he obviously panics, starts punching the rear view mirror. That's his answer to a lot of things, just punch it.
Punching, yeah.
So interesting. But he ends up losing control and drives into a tree.
Yeah.
Totaling the car.
As I say, full on, full pelt. Wraps the car around it, basically.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And the camera pans round the tree, and we see a graffiti symbol on the side of the tree. Now, I didn't know what this was. Did this have any meaning to you?
Not initially, no. I thought it was... it reminded me of... have you seen Hereditary?
No, I haven't.
There's stuff in that. It's about cults and stuff, and there's these symbols everywhere, and it looked quite similar. So I knew it was some kind of cult or something like that. Some kind of...
Well, it looks like a compass, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A sort of north, south, east, west.
Yeah.
Which I know is obviously heavily linked to biblical or sort of Bible or heaven, hell, etc., and Holy Ghost. So yeah, I thought probably something to do with that, maybe, but I didn't really know.
No.
And obviously it's a little bit of a different variation on that.
I did like the noise, the little vocal noises that they make every time you see that symbol.
I didn't notice it. What vocal noise was it?
It would do. You ever heard the beginning to Ghost in the Shell, the anime film?
Can't say I remember it.
There's a bit where it's like a woman singing or something like that. And it was that over the top of it.
Oh, okay, I didn't notice
anytime
that.
you saw it, it was just this vocal noise. It was
Interesting, I like it.
No, that's the best way. I can't do a good impression of that, to be honest.
So after that, it's the intro.
Yeah.
And we open back up on Country Road 10 in the same state. Mulder and Scully are driving down the road, and Scully is looking over the case file of the man in the intro, Private John McAlpin. We now learn his name. And she comments that the drug and alcohol tests came back as negative, basically been classified as suicide. It's the second suicide reported from troop stationed at the this compound where they're processing refugees from Haiti.
As soon as they said Haiti, I knew
Voodoo.
exactly what it was.
Yeah, it was bound to be. I struggled through this episode. Not struggled. Is it racist?
Well, we'll find out.
The thing is, I don't know, because I don't want to put myself in hot water, but I feel like just saying Haiti must be voodoo. Do you know what I mean? In this episode basically says Haiti, it must be voodoo.
It's a very stereotypical thing to think of just about for Haiti.
Yeah. And I just thought to myself, I didn't know whether it's classified as. I don't know.
It's an easy,
or is it just a stereotype where England bad teeth, fish and chips? Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
I'm not 100% sure. I know that if you're ever making a supernatural thing and anything's got a connection to Haiti, even James Bond did it. They had a Haiti connection, and that's it. It's voodoo, and it's yeah. So pretty much anything that
I've seen it done loads. So that's what I mean. I don't know whether it's offensive or not. It's an interesting one, isn't it? I don't know. But yeah,
it's definitely a stereotype. We'll say that.
But I knew where they was going with it as soon as they mentioned Haiti. I knew.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway. This compound has been processing refugees from Haiti, and 2 suicides in the last month. And Scully also mentions there was a riot there recently when a 10-year-old boy was killed, but the details of the death had never been released. So we've got a little bit of backstory now. We sort of know where we're going with it.
You think, it's some kind of revenge plot or something.
Yeah.
Straight away, it's some kind of revenge.
Yeah, exactly. And you assume that it's going to be to do with voodoo.
Yeah.
Turns out that Mrs. McAlpin has contacted them. That's how Mulder knows about the case. And she did that when military refused to investigate further. So they pull up at the tree in question, and Mulder goes to look at the graffiti. And he tells Scully that Mrs. McAlpin doesn't believe John killed himself. That's why they're there. And hints that voodoo might be involved. Interesting. I'll stop there, because I didn't stop at the intro, because the intro is quite short.
Yeah.
What do you think going into this episode? Are you looking forward to it?
It was one of those where it wasn't an instant, this has grabbed me. It was sort of okay, yeah, we'll see where this goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it was like that, to spoil sort of towards the end. It was like that throughout the rest of the episode. I thought it was okay and plodding along, but yeah, nothing of it stood out. You know what I mean? I shouldn't really be saying this in the beginning. People are like,
just turn it off.
Turn it off.
So we've already got the download link.
Yeah, that's true. But no, it's nothing really grabbed me. It just sort of, it was entertaining enough to keep me watching, like the intro was, but it wasn't exactly. Yeah.
At this point in the episode, I was actually quite looking forward to it, because it was something we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
And I do enjoy the aspect of, I've said this before, I really enjoy seeing X-Files tackle subjects that do their own twist with it, which I think they did with this episode, to be fair, because it wasn't like voodoo dolls with pins in it, was it? There wasn't any of that. It was their own take.
And to be fair, it is, I think, voodoo culture is interesting. It's an interesting thing. Yeah. So I was happy to.
And Scully touches upon sort of details about voodoo culture. But anyway, we'll get into that, because I have a few problems with this episode.
Yeah,
I wasn't the biggest fan, if I'm honest. But I can go through that whilst we do it. So we go to the McAlpin house. And Mulder and Scully interview Mrs. McAlpin. I don't think you learn her first name, do you?
I don't think so, no.
No, I just call her Mrs. All the time.
Yeah.
She begins by telling them that he used to have a sense of humour before being transferred to the camp. Used to tell jokes that wasn't funny, but like it was the way he told them, as she said. And after that, he came home every day angry at himself and would take it out on them. And he never discussed what happened at work. Mulder asks if he believed in voodoo, and she tells him all he believed in was Marines, his family, and football.
Yeah.
So, no, he didn't believe in voodoo. If he does now, there's a reason for it.
He's a very straight-laced kind of guy.
Yeah, exactly. He go to work, come to be at home. That's basically what he was doing.
Yeah.
She goes on to say that she was told by one of his fellow Marines about the voodoo graffiti. And it was the same symbol on the stool that the Puerto Rican kid used to hang himself in the riots that we heard about earlier.
I thought you said... Sorry, I thought you said he used to hang himself. I was like, what? Like it was a pastime.
Like a hobby. Yeah. No, so it's the same when the Puerto Rican kid hung himself.
Yeah.
It had that symbol on it. And Mulder asks who told her, and she tells him that Harry Dunham, another soldier that McAlpin used to hang out with. And Dunham is from New Orleans and can be very suspicious about this sort of stuff. And she tells them she doesn't know what to believe, but then shows them like a conch, wasn't it? It's like a shell.
Yeah, a big conch shell.
Yeah. I think that's a conch. Is that a conch?
Yeah, it's a conch.
I always think of Lord of the Flies.
Yeah.
You know, passing the conch around and like they can blow into it, can't they?
I think of SpongeBob SquarePants, so we both got our references.
Some more intellectual than others.
Yeah, well, SpongeBob, obviously. Yeah.
So yeah, there's this. She found this by the sandbox in the back garden, and it had the symbol on it as well.
Yeah.
This never really gets explained why this symbol was on this conch, but
no, they go into what the symbol is, but not really as why it keeps appearing.
Who put it on a shell and then just left it in the?
I know, yeah, it's
interesting.
taunting, if anything.
Yeah, it's petty.
Yeah,
it's petty voodoo. This is
petty voodoo. Less talked about that one is. Prick my finger. God damn it.
Petty voodoo.
God damn it.
Yeah, but we've finished this scene by her telling him that she's scared and doesn't know what to believe anymore. So we go straight to the it's called the Folkestone INS Processing Centre, which is the refugee camp, basically. And we see the camp with, is the plural Haitian?
Yeah, Haitian.
Yeah. Haitian refugees all waiting to be sort of processed through. They just look like they're waiting around. It looks like a death camp almost. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, the way it's set up looks very like concentration camp style. Yeah. And it even mentions it.
It does, yeah. Like literally, like no one's doing anything. It's not like they're in a line waiting to get the papers. They're just trapped there. Yeah. And as Mulder and Scully arrive and enter the facility, they're accompanied by armed guards, which sort of gives you an insight of the feeling around that camp. And as they're walking through, they're getting all like these sort of dirty looks from everybody, like suspicious looks. But I think it's just generally untrust towards the guards.
Pretty much, yeah. Or any type of authority, I think.
Yeah, because at this point, they don't know if the Mulder and Scully's involved. Yeah. And they've been trapped there for God knows how long. It's at least a month. So once inside, a refugee ends up actually grabbing Scully. Starts shouting at her, speaking a different language. I don't know what.
Creole, I think it is. Creole, yeah.
Okay. But yeah, starts shouting in a different language. And a boy suddenly appears and chases him off. Claims that this man's just crazy. Too much rum, he said.
Yeah. Now,
I love this boy.
Yeah, exactly what I was going to say. This kid's the best character.
Best part of this episode by a mile. Yeah. His acting was phenomenal. Yeah. Like, it's so good.
I looked into what he's been in. He's not really been in anything massive since.
You found the role of a lifetime, then that's the problem.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Like, sometimes when you hit that wall, there's no greater heights.
The only way he's down, unfortunately.
Yeah, but let's just try and find another hobby. I bet he's like the best Scrabble player in the world now.
I think he was in other stuff, but I can't remember exactly what. You crack on and I'll find out what else he was in.
Oh, okay, I'll crack on.
You crack on.
On with the show.
Sorry about that.
So, listeners, it's just me and you for the moment. I've been ordered to stick to the script.
What's this episode called?
No, listeners.
Spooky Bones.
It's okay. Daddy was just angry.
He's trying to eat lunch.
You couldn't even get the quote out.
Myself laugh.
You made yourself laugh so much that you couldn't get the quote out.
Right. His name was Jamil Walker Smith. He was in Stargate, SGU, and he was Gerald in Hey Arnold. There we go. Another role of a lifetime.
What a bloke.
Prolific. Nothing else, unfortunately.
He's got to be like, 30 now?
He was born in 1982.
No, 35?
82. What's that?
1982?
Yeah.
About 37.
Yeah.
Look at that, quick math.
That was good, that was. Yeah.
Thank you. Should we get on with the show?
Crack on.
Crack on. There's your catchphrase, actually. Yeah. There we go.
It's a bit harsh, but catchphrase, isn't it?
It's a bit like you then. So yeah, this, as we said, this boy was really, really good character. He offers to sell Mulder a lucky charm to protect them. Mulder asks how much, and he says 5, 10. Yeah. And Mulder pays him $5 for it. Yeah. Now, I'm a salesman. Yeah. This was horrendous sales tactics.
Bad pitch, yeah.
You don't go in with a low offer. You don't. And that's 101 they teach. He should have gone to, like, a seminar.
Yeah.
I could have taught him.
He didn't have time, really.
He should have gone 15 and then gone down to 10.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean? I'm just saying, savvy businessman.
He could have, but also you got to bear in mind he's just made a play at Scully as well at this point. So.
Has he made a play?
Yeah. He
does. He calls her
a pretty lady.
Pretty lady. Yeah, but that again. That was good salesmanship.
Yeah.
Compliment.
And then went in with a low offer.
Yeah, he ruined it. He ruined it. Poor little kid. But I forgive him for it.
Yeah.
You know what? He's got a lot to learn. And he can only get better.
Yeah.
So he's starting young. I like it. So after he's bought this charm, which Scully's just rolling her eyes at, by the way, as usual.
How many times has he bought like some kind of protection? Or that's any wrong. Some kind of like magical protection, let's say, or some kind of like evidence that actually comes good. You know what I mean?
Do you think he had protection in Trinity? He doesn't strike me as a guy that would carry protection around with him.
Do you mean he's gone?
Yeah, I mean his gun, yeah.
He always carries protection.
Oh, okay, that's good then. Then that's that one covered.
Safe shooting.
Moving swiftly on. Mulder and Scully meet with Colonel Wharton.
Yeah.
And he tells them he doesn't understand what they are investigating. The official story is there was 2 suicides there. There's nothing to investigate. Wharton tells them that they are not a prison guards, but they are being asked to put up with the hatred from the refugees on a day-to-day basis. Basically saying it's not our job to deal with this.
Yeah. He seemed quite, throughout all this, he seemed quite helpful. You know what I mean? Like, he actually said, I thought, he's quite straight up for a... Usually they're quite defensive, like, when they come and investigate. So I didn't expect it to go the way it did. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
I thought, right from the moment I met him, that he was the bad guy.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. Because he looked like Wilson Fisk.
He did a bit, yeah.
And from Daredevil. Yeah. And just in my head, I was like, oh, he's Wilson Fisk. Bet you he's the bad guy. It was just like an association. Yeah. Nothing to do with like the scene. I'm sure that wasn't the intention, obviously.
Because the way he played it was quite...
he played it well.
He was really forthcoming with information, helpful. He was like, these guys can help you with everything. The only thing that made me question a bit was the guy's reaction as they left their soldiers. But anyway, we're getting ahead of
which was... what was his name now?
Dunham, that's it. I'm glad you got it down.
Yeah, I've got it. Don't you worry about it.
Diligent podcasting.
Yeah. It's my MO. So yeah, as I say, he's moaning about the sort of what he's having to do there. Mulder eventually asks him about the voodoo ritual sign, and Wharton tells him he doesn't know much about it. Apart from it caused a riot in his camp at some point. A secret ceremony was performed the night before, apparently, and all hell broke loose the next day, including the young boy's death. And he does seem genuinely sort of grieved by this. And he tells them that he's isolated the one who instigated the trouble, Pierre Beauvais, who sees himself as a revolutionary. Mulder requests to speak to him, and whilst Mulder goes off to speak to him, Scully asks if she can investigate McAlpin's body.
Yeah.
So they both go off to do their separate things. Just a quick side note before we carry on. They continually refer to him as Beauvais throughout the episode.
That's what I know him as.
I called him Pierre all the way through it in the notes.
Oh, right.
And then I got to a certain point where I was like, oh no, his name's Beauvais in this. But I'll get confused if I don't keep calling him Pierre. So just work with me. Like, I don't have Beauvais, and I know I'm not going to remember it, so...
I'm going to correct you.
Correct me every time. That's perfectly fine.
Good radio, that is.
So we go to the morgue first, which is like this sort of temporary camp morgue, it's called. And Scully is shown to the body by a doctor who tells her it was a pretty straightforward cause of death. He was in a car crash, you know. He pulls the body out, and a dog carcass is there. I
didn't know it was a dog. I could see it was a four-legged thing. It's just really warped.
Yeah, it didn't look like a dog, but it's because it looks like it's been dead a long time.
Yeah.
The doctor asks what sort of sick joke is this, goes to find out if anyone's been in there. Genuinely surprised by this himself. At the processing centre, Mulder is talking to Durham, and he asks why he thinks he might have killed himself, and Durham tells him he can't say. He shows him to Pierre. Beauvais. Yeah.
I'll just do the once.
And Mulder introduces himself. Beauvais, he is a very dramatic character.
Yeah, he seems very self-assured, I think, from the off.
So, he tells Mulder that the suicides are a terrible shame. And he tells him Mulder tells him he doesn't think it was that simple. Beauvais says if he thinks he was involved, he's wrong, as he's been locked up in here for months. There's no way he could be involved in this. And Mulder shows Beauvais the voodoo markings, and when asked what he expects to learn, Mulder tells him just the truth, which seems to get a little bit of respect from Beauvais, I think, or at least that's the way I interpreted it. Because Beauvais then goes on to say, it's the Locomore? Was that...
I think, yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
I was watching it on the computer, I couldn't...
Google it.
Couldn't turn the subtitles on.
So,
I couldn't write it down, but it sounded like what he said was the Locomore.
Yeah.
But basically what it represents is a crossroads between the two worlds.
I like the lighting in this scene as well, like, before we carry on, just like, it's like really dark, but like you just get their eyes like in the lighting. Cool.
Throughout this episode, he's shrouded in shadow.
I
think it's meant to represent like this sort of air of mystery, because you don't really know what this magical sort of influence is.
Exactly.
So I just, again, very clever directing, because it tends to be in any show that you watch when they're sort of obscured, it means they're hiding something, or at least there's something you don't know about this character. They use that to great effect with X as well. So every time you see X, so far anyway, he's been sort of in shadows. Where Mulder tends to be well lit. Because he puts it all out on Front Street. So there's no secrets with Mulder.
That's a good point. Actually,
he doesn't keep anything secret. No. He tells everybody. Mulder asks why he incited the riot last month, and Beauvais tells him Wharton is stopping them from going home, which is all they ask, and that's all he says.
It is strange that he won't let them go home. Like, it's such a weird policy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if a refugee wanted to go home, I know obviously by the end of the episode you know why.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine any person would be like, no, we're keeping you here. Like, surely, it was strange. Like,
maybe we should ask Trump why.
That's a good point.
Why he keeps refugees?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And separates children from their mothers. So it's just interesting. I'm just putting it out there. It's not that strange.
True.
They're just all dicks. That's all it is, Luke.
All right, you're saying this.
I don't think I'm going to get into trouble. I think people are saying a lot worse about about Trump. I think I'll be all right.
Probably, yeah, you'll be all right.
This is where
the old right for you.
You're recording next week solo. They have been taken out.
They got him. The yellow jackets killed him.
What a story. That'd be great.
Did wonders for our numbers.
This podcast will go through the roof. Maybe we should just fake it.
I'll just cry a little bit. He's gone.
Fake tears. That's the money rolls here.
This is sick.
My best friend, Dan.
All right, don't go that far.
My best friend. Please sign to our Patreon.
It's the Daniel Checkley Foundation. I feel like we took a really dark turn.
All because I called Trump a dick.
I know, yeah. We better not do that again.
Anyway, Scully interrupts them at this point, and Pierre guesses, Beauvais should I say, guesses that she's about to tell him that they're missing a body. Which, they're obviously shocked about, like, how did they know about
Pretty
that?
spooky.
And he tells them it was the spirits warning them, and they will only warn them once. After that, no magic can save them. So they're a bit freaked out, but obviously they go and leave to investigate. Later that day, on the drive back, Scully theorises that Beauvais must have switched the bodies. Despite Mulder's objections, due to him being confined and basically security being practically impossible to breach, it is like a concentration camp. Like, there's no way he could just sort of wander out for a smoke or something like that. It doesn't work like that. Mulder brings up the idea that voodoo might be responsible, and Scully tells him that voodoo only works by instilling fear into its believers, merely the power of suggestion, which she admits can be quite powerful, but it's not. It can't do the impossible.
Yeah, it's not magic.
Yeah, exactly. And they suddenly break as a man walks out into the middle of the road. They go out to confront the man, and they find John McAlpin, live and well. Well, I say well. He looks pretty beat up.
Alive.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it there.
And we jump straight to the psychiatric infirmary now. So we get the explanation straight away. John McAlpin's rocking back and forth in a holding cell, and Scully comments that he's non-responsive and is suffering from concussion after the crash. Mulder questions how he came back to life, and Scully argues, well, he obviously never left. It was doctors can make mistakes. It's happened before. It's a pretty big mistake, but obviously she's theorising that he signed a death certificate without having actual proof.
Yeah.
And she then checks his blood tests, which all come back normal, apart from detecting a high level of tetrodotoxin. Tetrodotoxin.
That's the one, yeah. The thing is, I know what this is before they even said it, because I've seen it on like a documentary before.
Oh, okay.
I was like, it's that pufferfish stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I know what it was, yeah.
Sweet. So
Sorry,
there you go.
Pat me on back there.
We found out a second later it's a pufferfish.
1 second ahead of them. They could have used me.
They could have. They should have called you, to be fair. So the tetrodotoxin.
That's the one, yeah.
It was found in his bloodstream. It's a poison found in pufferfish, which is a Japanese delicacy. Mulder basically says, well, I don't think he was eating much Japanese delicacy in here. He theorises that this toxin has been used in voodoo zombie rituals in the past, and in small enough doses it can cause the victim to have a lower heart rate and actually appear dead, which is what he thinks happened.
I'm sure it makes them suggestible as well, like in the like voodoo stuff. Like I've seen like the dust that they actually use, like has got,
which is maybe why they're sort of hallucinating.
That's just what I thought anyway.
I mean, is that a real thing?
Yeah.
That'd be quite powerful in the wrong hands, really. Wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's why they're like you see these like myths of like voodoo zombies or Haitian zombies is just people fucked up on this poison, basically. Because you can watch footage of it, actually. It's like on YouTube. See, it's mental.
When you say, like, to be fair, what was that drug that everyone... it was, like, literally turning people into zombies, like cannibals.
Oh, bath salts.
Was it bath salts, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was freaky time, wasn't it?
I feel like that must just make you, like, hyper-aggressive, you know what I mean? Like...
Yeah, but, like, it happened to like 3 people, didn't it? Where 3 people were found eating someone or biting someone. It's very strange how that's the reaction you go for.
Well, like you hear about in like I've been reading about Vikings lately, and they had like berserkers, didn't they? And they were just like hopped up on drugs to send them into a rage. And so, what if it's something similar to that? You know what I mean? Like
you've all got that sort of base instinct inside you. Do you know what I mean? Like that sort of rage that. It's almost survival mode.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's your body just getting rid of everything else and just survive.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Interesting. But anyway, he believes that it was used to sort of make him appear dead, and he questions if McAlpin is alive. Then what happened to the other soldier who got himself killed, or killed himself, should I say? So we go to the cemetery, and we're going to try and dig up this other soldier. They pull up, and they're looking for this soldier called Gutierrez, by the way. And on the way, a dog starts growling and barking at them. They sort of stop and have a look. And the owner of the dog appears, introduces himself, and he's the man that's been given the orders to help with the dig for the body.
They seem to make a lot of grave diggers, don't they?
They do.
They're all quirky.
They are all quirky. Do you remember? Oh, do you remember that one?
The plot device.
Yeah, Mr. Exposition.
Yeah.
He was awful. What episode was that now?
Oh, something about a little girl that died or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Oh, can't remember.
We are terrible at remembering episodes.
We need to do like a recap episode, maybe.
When we get to the end, we'll start all over again.
Yeah. So we finished season 2. Go back to season 1.
No, I meant the end of
season.
The end of the very thing. We'll finally get 5 years down the line. We finally did it. Let's do it all over again. A decade of.
I know a podcast. Again, it's Lost podcast. I think I've mentioned it before.
Yeah.
Getting Lost, it's called. Great podcast, by the way. If anyone is interested in Lost or they enjoy the show, really good podcast to go along with. But anyway, what they did was when they finished Lost, they started doing series binges. So they did an episode on like watching an entire season from like over a couple of days, and then sort of seeing how it would change their views on it. It was interesting. I don't know whether
we'll see.
24 episodes, a lot of episodes.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Anyway, let's get back to this. So it's this grave digger, but he tells them that it's too late to dig this grave. Body Snatchers got there first, and he tells them it happens quite often around here, and that's why he carries a gun and he shows them the gun. I did note this down because I thought, well, this is definitely going to come into play. Doesn't at all.
No.
Just wanted to show you his gun.
They keep mugging us off like this.
I know, yeah, proper bait and switch.
Yeah.
So yeah, he goes on to tell them that Snatchers sell the bodies, and they used to snatch them and sell them to the local medical school, because when the local medical school ran out of cadavers, they would pay $200 a head. No questions asked. Yeah. What medical school's going, yeah, bring them in.
Bring in your dead. Like, what is this, the medieval times?
Yeah, surely not. Oh, my days. Yeah. But he tells them now that it's the voodoo types that do most of the buying. Scully then notices another person digging across the cemetery, and they rush over to him and find it's the kid. The kid that we saw in the beginning, he sold Mulder the charm. And they discover he was simply collecting a lot of frogs in a canvas bag.
That's twice in 2 weeks that we've had frogs.
Yeah, they are getting. To be fair,
they're frog heavy. This
do you not remember though? In the last episode, your production notes said they tried to use fake frogs.
Oh yeah,
but they couldn't because it didn't look real enough.
Yeah.
So they had to go out and buy a load of frogs.
Oh yeah.
Now.
Right.
You'll see these frogs every episode from that one. They're getting their use out of it. They have to pay a lot of money for those frogs.
Are we going to cram frogs into this episode?
I can't wait for next episode. The Frog Man.
There's a man with frogs sellotape to him or something. Yeah.
The effects are fantastic. We did talk a couple of episodes ago about the practical effects being really good. Yeah. Let's get Frog Man.
Frog Man.
That's our episode.
The many legs of Frog Man.
Honestly, these frogs, They are. You can't
just 2 episodes. Yeah,
you can't just go into a pet shop and buy frogs. They're expensive to import.
It's a good hour and a half of TV that they've got their frog money.
Their frog money. Oh god, yeah, the frog money. Don't tell the taxman about the frog money.
How much on frogs? Talking of frogs that they make it into it, I thought that was a good segue.
Oh, was that segueing back into it? Yeah. There was frogs here.
No, it was the next bit, but okay.
Oh, why?
He's eating frog's legs, isn't he?
Is he?
I think they're fried frogs.
At the diner?
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
I think it was fried frogs legs.
How do you know? It doesn't mention anything about it.
Because they talk about frogs.
Because he was collecting frogs?
Yeah, but you cannot have fried frogs legs.
In France?
In America as well?
I don't think in a diner.
I'm sure you can. Wait there, I'm going to... You can't crack on.
Crack on with this. Yeah, I'll talk about this. Oh my days. That we go to a nearby diner, and Mulder and Scully have taken this boy, who we now find is Chester. And he tells them he collects the frogs to sell to Beauvais for 50 cents a piece. Again, not a great businessman. The amount of work he's putting in for this. You should go to the guys that bought them from the X-Files. They'll have it off them.
I know, yeah.
He tells them that his magic is the strongest, talking about Beauvais. And jokes that, he made my fries disappear. Mulder, he loves this kid already.
To be fair, he's charismatic all the way through.
He's just a very charismatic kid, you know what I mean? Like, he is, he's just likeable.
Yeah.
He really is. But Mulder tells him that he's also magic and he can make his fries reappear, and he gives him some money to buy some more. And when he's left, Scully comments that certain frogs have similar toxins to what they found in the blood samples. But Mulder interrupts her and tells Scully that he thinks they're being followed and points out a grey sedan in the parking lot. Before I go on, did you find out whether they're eating frog legs?
I don't know if in this episode, but you can get fried frog's legs as a fast food cuisine in America. It's in southern parts of America.
Really? Yeah. Okay. Maybe it's frog's legs.
Yeah. What? Do you know what state they're in? Oh, what did they say?
Yeah, they're in North Carolina.
It could very well be. Yeah.
Okay.
Get in touch if you think frog's legs yes or frog's legs no.
Hashtag frog legs yes. Hashtag frog legs no.
This is a tongue twister.
Maybe we should have made it easier.
Froghood less.
So frog legs yes, frog legs no.
Okay.
Mulder ends up going round the back and he sneaks up on the follower, the person who's been following them, and he drags him out of the car and realises that it's Dunham. And he tells him, Dunham tells him he wants to help, but not when the kid is there. He sees the kid walking out with Scully and he gets scared, not when he's there. He looks genuinely terrified by this kid. Yeah. So
makes sense later on.
It certainly does, yeah, I can understand. He goes on to tell them that Beauvais warned them that he would take Wharton's men one by one unless he let them go back to Haiti. And he said he would take their souls, and Wharton's, in turn, ordered his men to start beating the refugees, which is like a federal law that he's breaking there.
Yeah, exactly.
He tells them that an associate of his dad, Clyde Jessamine, once crossed a man, and 2 weeks later his daughter died of an unknown illness on her wedding day. And all the autopsy could find was snakes in her belly. And Scully dismisses this as an old wives' tale. But he tells her that he was the man supposed to marry her.
Bit awkward.
Yeah, it was. Do you know what it reminded me of? Do you know those Reddit posts where it's like, and that kid was Albert Einstein, you know what I mean? And everyone stood up and applauded or something like that. It just...
I just had the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme in my head as soon as she said it. It's just like...
Just why... But why did he tell the story like that? Like, he obviously told the story hoping to get that reaction so he could put her down.
Surely he's got better things to worry about at the moment than trying...
Just making it dramatic.
Excuse me, actually. That was my wife.
So, yeah, this is the reason why he's so scared of, voodoo.
Yeah.
Dunham leaves, and Mulder confirms he believes him, as he has no reason to lie. And Scully tells him it's superstition, and superstition breeds fear, and that's why he's so terrified. When they get back to the car, Chester's gone, and they try and catch up to him. And Mulder's legging it after him. He goes down like the sort of pier.
Yeah.
In between,
not Beauvais.
Sorry, not pier. Oh, not pit. Can't get my words out.
Yeah.
You found that too funny.
Yeah, I loved it.
So they go down this pier, and there's like a load of I don't know what you call them. Like what are they called? The big cargo.
Oh, they're just like
there's a name for them, isn't there? Containers, yeah. Couldn't think of the word container.
We're on a bad day.
I know, yeah. There's like all like these shipping containers, so he's weaving in and out of those, and he weaves between the one, and when Mulder goes round to sort of catch him, end of the pier, there's nowhere for him to go. He's disappeared. Chester's nowhere to be seen. And all he can find is a black cat. So it definitely seems to signify that this cat's Chester. Mulder's staring at this cat.
Yeah.
But yeah, like he does look in the water. There's no splashing or anything like that. He's just disappeared.
Turned into a cat. Yeah.
He's turned into a cat. We jump back to Wharton's office, and Wharton is being served his breakfast.
Yeah. Have you noticed how, as soon as you find out that a guy's a bad guy, everything they do looks sinister?
Yeah, I know.
He was like, oh, yeah, you can do this, Sonny. I'll help you with this. And now he's eating his breakfast, and you're like, you prick. Eating his sausages, you're like, get out of here.
He had ham and eggs, didn't he?
Was it ham and eggs?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was, yeah. Yeah, definitely was.
Yeah, it's an important point.
Yeah, there was no sausage on that plate.
There was not.
I'm just vamping.
Great vamping. Mulder and Scully arrive and they tell him about the missing body. Scully tells them they think it was retaliation for his abuse of the refugees and reminds him it's a crime to abuse them. Wharton tells them that it's his men that are being harassed, and that everyone's too concerned with the well-being of the refugees, that they're not giving enough attention to the fact that they shouldn't be there. And Mulder and Scully basically excuse themselves at this point. And when they leave, Wharton starts to eat his breakfast, and when he cuts into the meat, it starts draining blood, which horrifies him, as I'm sure it would do. Outside, Mulder and Scully get in the car and start discussing the case. And as she tries to turn the engine on, she cuts herself on like this barbed wire that's been wrapped around the steering wheel.
Is it barbed wire? I thought it was like a thorns.
Well, yeah,
I'm not sure.
It was like a barb of some sort, wasn't it? But I think it was like thorns of some sort. Yeah, like a branch. Yeah. But whatever it was, it cuts her. And I was like, oh dear, here we go. Like, she's been infected with this toxin.
Yeah.
I don't know, they never put it together, do they? Like, it's been literally placed in your car. Like, just think about it.
She's like, oh, it's nothing. It's like, it's not going to be nothing.
Yeah, she's like, it's a scare tactic.
Yeah.
I was like, how they got to your car?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she puts it down to scare tactics, and Mulder asks to see the cut. She refuses, drives away. But under the car, we see the voodoo symbol has been made on the floor. So, in the facility now, we see Beauvais being beaten up, and the soldier holds back, and he tells Wharton he's in no condition to talk. Basically, sort of, he doesn't want to be beating this guy up.
Yeah.
And Wharton dismisses him and takes over himself. He grabs Beauvais and asks him for the secret. He tells him that your life is in my hands. We cut then to the hotel room. It was starting to pick up pace a little bit now.
Yeah.
Skipping from scene to scene. Mulder enters his hotel room, and the 10 of Diamonds card falls from the door. And he rightly guesses this to mean meet on the country road 10.
See, I thought initially this was going to be something more to do with the voodoo, because I know, like, this is my lack of experience with voodoo.
Yeah.
Do you know the Princess and the Frog?
Yeah.
The voodoo guy in that is doing, like, card tricks and stuff, and I thought, oh, is that something else, like, that's related to voodoo? I thought it was something like that, another scare tactic, but...
I don't think it's anything to do with cards. I think it literally is a Disney film sort of showing I can do magic.
That is probably
Do you know
true.
what I mean?
Yeah.
That is the most underrated Disney film.
It's a good film. I enjoyed it.
Really good. And the songs are great. I think the music really makes it for me, because I just love that sort of... Yeah.
I like it because it's so out the realms of what Disney usually go for. Like,
it's not safe, is it?
This story in a Louisiana swamp. You know what I mean? Like, it's brilliant.
Yeah,
anyway,
definitely.
Yeah.
And of course, the first like main characters are black as well. So it's quite revolutionary, really, when you think about it. But
well, it was 2009 when
I know, probably a little bit late to the party, but even though they're late, you got to applaud. You got to try and applaud them for trying to do the right thing eventually.
Yeah.
Is there any? I mean, this is really wildly off topic. Is there any races or like ethnicities or places that they've not covered with Disney princesses now? Because they've tended to go around.
Yeah,
they've got you've got Mulan.
That's
You've got like
Pocahontas.
Yeah.
I found out recently though, Pocahontas is she only speaks for 30% of that film. most of the characters speaking are dudes.
Yeah, but to be fair, she can't communicate with them, can she?
I don't remember the film.
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember now myself. I do seem to remember them talking. But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I can't think of any.
Yeah. We've got Scottish.
Have they got a Mexican princess? I don't think they have they?
No. I think that's...
And Scottish is Pixar anyway.
Yeah, that's true. I always put that under the one umbrella. I know they're not technically the same.
But I think that is the idea, isn't it? Trying and sort of get a story from every part of the world.
So everyone can relate to it.
Yeah.
Is there a Mexican one?
I don't know why I just picked Mexican, but...
No, I don't know.
They got French. Belle,
yeah. She's very English, though, isn't she?
Yeah, she is. We should talk about X-Files.
Yeah, it's probably crack on.
He rightly assumes that he's on about Country Road 10.
Yeah.
And he gets there and meets with X. We've not seen X in a while.
Yeah, it was a weird episode to bring him back in, I thought.
Yeah, I don't think he was needed.
No, definitely not.
In all honesty, but maybe they just needed him.
Maybe he was on set and they were like, fancy it?
Yeah. Honestly, we've looked at the budget and we've spent so much on Frogs and the guy who plays X. Can we just start getting them in a little bit? Yeah. We need to justify this.
Yeah, his calling cost must be ridiculous. And I'm like, okay, well, there you go. You're on this one as well.
So yeah, Mulder expresses surprise that they are still in contact with the last time they met, because they didn't leave under particularly friendly circumstances. And he asks why he's here, and X tells him his investigation is faltering. In 24 hours, all access to Folkestone will be restricted to military personnel only, and Mulder and Scully will be recalled to Washington. Mulder asks why they are trying to cover this up, and why they can't relocate all the refugees instead of keeping the refugees there, which is exactly what you said, the exact same point. But X explains that during their latest involvement with Haiti, 3 US soldiers took their own lives, and hints that the military is condoning Wharton's actions, almost as, like you said, a revenge plot. Mulder tells him Congress will have a problem with that, to which X replies, by the time they arrange a committee, it will be like none of this has ever happened. And he leaves the car. Again, not really needed, but, you know,
No.
I suppose, again, it's sort of exposition.
I think it's just a tie-in to the wider plot, I suppose.
Yeah.
To get,
And I'm assuming we're going to get sort of more mythology episodes coming up soon, being as it's coming up towards the end of the series. So maybe it's just sort of, don't forget he's still around, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe.
And then we go to Scully's hotel room. So Scully's on the phone and she's trying to locate Private Dunham, but then notices a rash starting to form on her hand from like where she got cut. And she goes to get Mulder, tries to inform him, should I say, that Dunham has been AWOL since last night. When she enters, though, she hears the bath running and she sees blood leaking under the bathroom door.
Yeah.
Now, immediately I thought this was like hallucination from the cut.
I thought it was going to be the same, yeah.
But it turns out it's real. She enters to find Dunham's body in the bathtub. The front door then opens and McAlpin is at the door. And you think, oh God, here we go, Scully's in trouble. But he's actually being held at gunpoint by Mulder, who quickly follows.
Says he found him outside, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. So basically he says, found wandering around, acting suspicious. And Scully shows Mulder what she has found, the body in the bathtub. And Mulder shows Scully a knife that McAlpin had in his hand outside. So we cut now to the interview room, and you'd assume McAlpin's killed Dunham. That's what's been insinuated. Mulder's interviewing McAlpin, and he tells him McAlpin tells him he doesn't remember much of anything these days. All he remembers was being there the night before and seeing Dunham in all the blood. And Scully asks why he signed the confession. And he sort of exchanges a look with Wharton, and Wharton interrupts and says McAlpin asked him, and he advised him of what he found at the crime scene, and McAlpin tells him that it could only have been him. Now, instantly it's a red flag.
Yeah.
When someone interrupts and says, well, I told him that this was the most likely scenario.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then, yeah, exactly.
This
in front of the FBI agents as well, like, you'd think he'd have a little bit more smart about him.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's going to get caught out. The beginning of this scene was the point where I realised that something was up with the Colonel. Like, maybe the Colonel was... I knew he was wrong then, let's say. But I had the feeling that he was orchestrating this.
Yeah.
I didn't know how, but I had a feeling.
It becomes evident that he's involved. I really don't like the way he's involved. And I'll get to it, but it just seems so forced.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mulder asks Wharton for a word outside, and once outside, he asks what happened between them, and if McAlpin signed the confession voluntarily. Wharton tells him of course he did, but Mulder asks if McAlpin has contacted Beauvais, and he tells her not to his knowledge, but they will never know for certain because he died last night.
Yeah.
Cut his wrist with the bed spring, apparently. I don't think that's the truth.
Nope.
He then tells them that both matters are being handled internally, so their business there is finished. And Wharton leaves, and Scully shows signs of exhaustion, seems to be struggling with this cut on her hand, but puts it down to just it being a headache. But she does keep grabbing her hand with the cut, so she's making it obvious. It is obvious to the viewer that this is what's going on.
Yeah.
Mulder then gets a phone call from Mrs. McAlpin, he tells her that we'll be there in 15 minutes. We cut to the house, and she's basically telling them, asking them what's going on. Because first she thought her husband was dead, and now he's a murderer.
I know, yeah.
It's got to be tough for her.
It's been a tough week.
Yeah, it's not been great. She tells them that Dunham was there last night and was on his way to see them to give them information. And he told her that if anything happened to him, she should give them a dossier. And she hands it over to them and tells them she was instructed not to open it. So Mulder opens up this sort of envelope and finds a picture of Beauvais, but Wharton is in the background of this picture. This is before the camp.
Yeah.
So they theorise that the only way this could happen is that Wharton used to know each other when they was positioned in Haiti.
Yeah.
And Mulder quips when in Rome, and then we go straight to Wharton's office. So the insinuation here that Wharton got involved in voodoo himself.
Basically, while he was over there, yeah.
It's just so forced. I don't know.
I like the picture, to be fair. He's just like in the background.
Yeah, it's just like it's so obviously glued on.
Where's Wally? Just like... there he is. Or Waldo, should we say, for the majority of our fan base.
Australia's Waldo, isn't it?
No, America is as well. I don't know, Australia might be.
To be fair, there's like tons of different versions. Yeah.
It's strange, isn't it? That guy's got a bunch of names.
Yeah. Why did they change it?
I have no idea. Literally no idea. I think it's something to do with like, what's it called where you try and ingratiate something? Ingratiate? I don't know. Is that the word?
I've got it.
When you just try and basically put something into a culture.
Yeah, but like, Wally's not a particularly English thing. And I don't think Waldo's a word. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, they could have just stuck with Waldo around the world.
Yeah. Waldo around the world. That's a good title.
I'm pretty sure that's all of his books, isn't it?
Waldo around
like,
the world.
Yeah, like, isn't he always, like, in Egypt and then...
He's done a lot.
The bottom of the sea. Yeah. What is the story? Why is he in all these places?
I don't know.
And he's got a magician with him and a dog.
Yeah. And it's girlfriend who looks suspiciously like him.
Yeah, I mean...
It's a bit worrying.
Talk about an ego complex.
Yeah.
And then, get a change of clothes, mate. He just sticks out like a sore thumb everywhere he goes. Actually, he doesn't. That's the point.
That's the point, yeah. And he's also got like an evil counterpart.
Yeah, who does that's yellow and black though, isn't it?
Yeah. He's like Waldo's
Waluigi. With like he's got like a pointed moustache.
Yeah, I always saw it and I was like, he's basically Waluigi. I don't know what's going on with this guy.
Would you find all the characters? I used to just find Waldo and then assume it was done.
I can't remember, to be honest. I used to get the ones that was Waldo's History of the World or something like that, and it was educational because it would learn you about history, and then at the back
didn't
it was
read it.
Yeah.
You don't read it. You just look at the pictures.
No, it was. I mean, it was meant to be a historical magazine, like for kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then at the back, there's Wally around the world.
Did you like the ones where it was like 1,000 Wallies?
No.
And you had to like find the one with like 4 stripes in his jumper.
No, because that's bullshit.
It's not fun, is
no,
it?
Who does that? Like, if you do it, I am sorry.
No, you're not.
No, I can't. It's just too much. You know what I mean? Why, you don't need that much Wally in your life.
No. Or Waldo. Or anywhere else.
Or Willow, or whatever they call him around the world.
Yeah. I'm going to have a look at that. Anyway, in Wharton's office, all the lights are off, and the door opens and Mulder and Scully enter with flashlights, and no one's there. They search the office, and they find chicken feet in one of the drawers.
Oh, is that what it was? I didn't know what they were. I just thought it was some weird...
Oh, no, it's chicken feet.
I thought it was like an antler or something like that. I don't know. Like
a little oh my god, there's a tiny reindeer.
Some kind of like bone or something. I didn't know what it was.
No, it's chicken feet. And it was piercing a complaint form made against him from McAlpin and Dunham. And then Mulder finds dog's tags, but is interrupted by a soldier. Mulder tells him Wharton killed Beauvais, and he will be an accessory if he doesn't help them. And the soldier says he's got what was coming to him after what he did to his fellow soldiers. But Scully explains it wasn't Beauvais, it was Wharton. Mulder asks him to look in the trunk that he just opened, and reveals a skeleton where the dog tags came from. And we now see the dog tags, and it's got Gutierrez's name on it. So Wharton killed Gutierrez. And the soldier then agrees to help, tells them that Beauvais' body has been buried in the cemetery. Which we, again, fast-paced, we instantly go there. And Wharton is shown at Beauvais' grave with candles surrounding it. He's pulling out the coffin.
He's in like a cloak as well, isn't he?
Yeah, it's proper sort of ritual type of setting.
Yeah, he looks like a D&D villain or something like that.
Yeah, he does, exactly. He brandishes a knife, places it on the coffin, and then begins pouring sort of, is it sand or ashes around the coffin?
Is it salt, maybe? Sometimes they use salt.
Well, they use it as this is the dust that he blows into his face at the end, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, what is it?
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's that powder of like, because they use that powder and it's ground up like...
Or like a toxin?
Yeah, that's right. Maybe it's like the blowfish toxin. They call blowfish pufferfish?
Pufferfish, yeah.
Same thing, I think, isn't it? A blowfish and a pufferfish.
I don't know.
Who knows? Like,
But anyway.
it's the Wally Waldo situation all over again.
Yeah. Pufferfish, blowfish.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, he's pouring this something all around it. You get the picture. It's ritual 101.
It's creepy cult shit.
Yeah, exactly. Mulder and Scully arrive, and Scully is still suffering from the headaches. She tells him to go on without her. And when he leaves, she looks around, basically the car, and she's like wide-eyed now. She's terrified, you can tell. And when she looks in the rearview mirror, her mouth starts filling with like... I immediately thought it was blood. Could be like ink or something like that. I don't know. Like this dark liquid. And then she looks down at the hand, and 2 fingers protrude from the hand. Yeah. And then a whole man protrudes from her hand and starts strangling her. Yeah. You know what? I didn't like this episode. I actually quite like the scene. I thought this scene was pretty creepy. I thought
the effects in this were really cool, like, because you can tell it's like they've done something where somebody's hand is coming through something. I was like, the acting was a bit corny. Yeah. But I quite like the effects.
Yeah, it was creepy enough. Yeah. I enjoyed this for what it was. Yeah. Meanwhile, Mulder approaches Wharton during the ritual.
Just before you carry on, like, I really liked all the misty shots in the graveyard.
Yeah.
It looked really like Haunted Mansion, like the way everything was. It was
like stereotypically spooky, wasn't it?
It was really cool just seeing it.
Wharton starts shouting in another language, like a deep voice.
Yeah.
Wasn't his own voice. And he proceeds to stab something on the ground right in front of him. And Mulder just sort of keels over in pain and literally falls to the ground. But behind Wharton, Beauvais rises up and tells him, "He who does evil, evil he will see." And Wharton goes to stab him, but Pierre blows the smoke or the dust or whatever it is on the ground into his face, and Wharton just falls over in pain. Meanwhile, in the car, Scully's still being strangled. She reaches out for the charm on the mirror. When she grabs it, she realises she's just having an hallucination. It all goes back to normal. So this charm works. This charm that they got. All she sees is a black cat on the bonnet of the car, or the hood of the car, whichever you want to use.
Wally Waldo.
Wally, Waldo, pufferfish, blowfish, hoods, bonnets. We're so different, but we're also so similar.
We need to just come together.
Right now.
Over you.
Shit joke.
Gotta laugh. That's all that matters.
So yeah, we see this black cat, assuming that the boy was there.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe that was the insinuation. I don't know. At this point, I just thought the cat was it's symbolising weird shit. Basically.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but it could be the boy as well. Like, who knows?
Well, she chases after Mulder, helps him up. Mulder tells her he's not sure what happened, but Scully investigates and finds Wharton has died from this dust going in his face. And Mulder tells her it was Beauvais. But when Scully checks the coffin, he is in there and he's dead.
Yeah.
So, I don't really know. Has Wharton taken some of this stuff? Well, he must have done because he saw the blood.
My assumption is that it's how they... I don't know, yeah.
I'm not really sure because Wharton was behind all of this, but then he must have...
Maybe you're getting tricked. Like, all along, like, he's...
Well, you'd assume Beauvais... This is the thing, because later, I'll just jump right to the end. So, let's finish it off. The next day, refugees are being moved from the camp. Mm-hmm. McAlpin gives Scully the manifest for the refugees being moved, and Scully notices Chester's name's not on the list. And McAlpin tells him, he remembers him, but he was the child that got killed in the riots. I did not see that one coming.
No, I mean, it's obvious at the end. Like, you go, obviously, but like all the way through, I didn't even think of it.
He was literally getting out of the camp. Like, I didn't question how he was doing it. So that was a nice little twist. But he leaves and Mulder and Scully look on. And at the cemetery, we cut down to the grave, and Wharton is alive in the coffin, trying to bang in the coffin, trying to get out, buried alive.
What a way to go.
But this is the thing. So what you'd assume's happened is he's seen this ham with the blood on it, so we know he's had contact with this ritual, this sort of toxin. So Beauvais wasn't there, I assume. But then Mulder saw him. But then why did he die again?
unless there's more to it. Do you know how Beauvais says at the beginning the spirits were warning him? Maybe that blood thing was the spirits warning him or something like that.
But no, he definitely had the toxin because he appeared dead but wasn't dead.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What did you think of the episode?
It was okay. It was. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. Basically, it was sort of. There was a few confusing things in it. I thought like the idea of the episode was good. I enjoyed like it exploring like a voodoo sort of storyline, but yeah, it was just middle of the road for me. Like I didn't really find anything too great about it, apart from the kid. Kid was a great character.
I agree. That was my favourite part, and I did enjoy the twist.
Yeah.
I didn't like this episode.
No.
I don't know. It just seemed a little bit forced. I didn't like the fact that Wharton ended up being sort of like this voodoo priest of some sort.
Yeah.
I just found it a bit boring.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I just didn't really grab me. The only thing that grabbed me was this kid. This kid was so charismatic. It's unbelievable. Yeah. And like you said, it was a bit confusing. Like, was the kid the cat? And if the kid was the cat, why was he...
I don't know. I got nothing to tell you.
How did he give Mulder the charm? It's fine. Yeah. We don't have to question it. It's voodoo.
Yeah,
it's voodoo. It's voodoo.
Yeah, it's the exact same as just saying, "Oh, it was magic," and then come on.
It's just voodoo.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, talking of magic,
why
don't we get to your production notes?
Luke's production notes.
Let's do it. So, Fresh Bones was written by Howard Gordon after he read 2 magazine articles detailing a number of US military personnel killing themselves while stationed in Haiti.
Oh, is that an actual? Okay, interesting. I mean, I do feel like it could be confirmation bias.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is, listen, like, at the end of the day, we know suicide's like a massive issue, especially in veterans. Post-traumatic stress disorder is to this day not treated as importantly as it should be.
No.
And so, soldiers, especially soldiers coming back after seeing action, they find it very difficult to sort of get back into a normal life. But, like, if you put it down to this case, I almost feel like you could use it to prove anything, really, so for example, if you was looking for sort of evidence of voodoo being used in Haiti, you could go, well, look at these soldiers that killed themselves while they was stationed there.
Yeah.
But then maybe there was suicides elsewhere that, you know what I mean, that wasn't reported.
I don't know, yeah. I mean, it feels to me like they've just taken, like, the barest amount of information from something and... like in Nightmare on Elm Street, where it was like some people died in their sleep with a nightmare, so they were like, "Oh, maybe there's a killer who's like." So it's just like they've just made this plot.
Yeah, it fits a story, doesn't it? So,
yeah. I suppose, yeah. The refugee plot was used due to the producers being unable to actually film in Haiti.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Colonel Wharton was portrayed by Daniel Benzali. While the producers agreed that he did not look like a military man, they unanimously agreed that he had the quality they were looking for in the role.
Who was that, sorry? Wharton?
Yeah, Wharton.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose he was a little bit heavy for a military role. He was
to be fair, that somebody who's like stationed to a refugee camp doesn't need to be
literally getting his breakfast served to him every morning.
Exactly. So
too much ham.
Too much ham. This is weird. Production for the episode began in late December 1994 and was completed in January 1995.
Thanks for that, Luke. Thanks for that. Yeah. Listeners, have you got your notepads out?
I wrote
make a note of that. There will be quizzes at the end of the season.
I feel like this just doesn't have that many notes to it because that one is like the third of 6.
Do you think we should introduce listener pads?
What?
So we make personalised, most unwanted notebooks. Right. We send them out to all of our listeners, right?
Okay.
And then when they listen to the podcast, they can get their notepads out. We'll get them a most unwanted pen. And they've got to make notes. And then at the end of the season, we quiz them. We make sure they've done their homework. We could even get, like, most unwanted uniforms.
I don't feel like it's going to take off.
I think that could work.
Post pads yes or post pads no. We'll have another one. Let's see how that one goes.
Well, for now, just grab any normal notepad. Just start making notes. Flick to the back section, which is production notes.
Okay.
Flick to that section, and then just start putting down this season, this episode. Write down the notes, and we can transfer them into the official notebooks when you receive them. Continue, Luke. Everyone's ready. Actually, give them a few seconds. To just get.
Well, yeah.
We'll wait. No, you go and get your pen. No, get the pencil so you can rub it out.
That's you, William.
Yeah, William. We can see you that you're not doing it. William, get up. Go get the pad. I really hope there's a William that listens.
Sat in his office now, just like, whoa, what?
William, come on, get your pad. Okay. Everyone got it?
Right,
yeah,
ready?
Everyone's ready. Everyone's ready.
Okay.
Next point.
The Haitian refund.
Get your rubbers. Rub that bit out. There was a mistake on our half. We are sorry.
That ain't staying in anyway.
No. That's staying in. So get your rubbers. Rub that one out, and we'll start again. Just put down. You just cross it out. You don't have to worry about rubbing it if you've used pen.
For reference, British people say an eraser is a rubber.
Is it not a rubber in America?
No, that's a very different thing.
It's made from a rubber. It's not made from our rubber. It's made from rubber. Oh God, just carry on.
That's why that bit.
Yeah.
Maybe we will keep that in. Actually,
tell you what, listeners, scrap that paper. Yeah. Just rip it out. Yeah. We'll start again.
We'll start again.
Go.
The Haitian refugee camp was shot in a derelict building in North Vancouver shipyard. Whilst filming the graveyard scenes, sump pumps had to be used because the scenes were filmed during extremely rainy weather.
Okay.
Again, I don't feel like
they're scraping a barrel of these production notes, aren't they?
I get the feeling this isn't a much-loved episode.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. To film the scene in which a man emerges from Scully's hand and strangles her, series makeup artist Toby Lindala explained we had a mechanical hand and had a guy doubling the actor's hand stuff his fingers up through it. There was gelatin skin on the hand, which I thought played very well and was believable and fleshy. The hand double had tubes attached to his fingers so that as he pushed it up, it tore it open a little bit and you can see the plasma and the skin rip. They played that so well in the final cut. Yeah,
I thought that was a really good effect.
Yeah.
It was very creepy, so I did enjoy that.
Knowing that it's all that work went into it as well to make it look realistic is it's good to know.
So is that the production notes?
That is everything.
Fantastic. So if you can all flip to the pages of the email section of your pads, flip to that section, and we're going to move on to some emails. Let's just read out a few. In fact, there's been a hot topic. It's been raging all week. Hot or cold water to wash your hair. Now, it's been on everyone's minds. Who do you think won the poll, or have you seen the poll?
I've literally just seen it as a
you've ruined it?
Well, I didn't know.
Shocking. Right, okay, so one.
Oh, I was going to give a drum roll there.
No,
I'll do it now.
Put in a drum roll, Hot water won.
Oh, right.
Hot water won.
It was a close dead heat, though. 58 to 42. That's
honestly, yeah. People didn't really know. I mean, okay, so we do have a few mentions here. So I think let's just talk about this, because at the end of the day, this is what people want to know.
Yeah, that's true.
So just to be clear, on the Twitter poll, we can't see who's voted for what.
No.
But some people did respond. We had Kathy basically saying hot water's better, but cold water is much creepier, which, after that episode, we definitely know it is creepier.
I agree.
Yeah.
So we also had a response from 8.6 light years, who said, when you have somewhat longer hair, wash with lukewarm, wink face.
Luke.
Yeah, that's my name.
That's you. That's who you are.
That's me. And rinse your hair with cold water because it seals the cuticles. Have you ever heard the term cuticles?
Yeah.
Have you? I've never heard that before.
Cuticles.
I've heard of follicles. I've never heard of
cuticles. Are the what's on the end of your nails as well.
Okay, well, you live and learn.
You do.
Other than hot water, which opens them up, with cold water rinse, the hair is less frizzy and easier to untangle.
I've actually, you know what? I ran this past Jem. And she agreed with this. I mean, I didn't go into this particular tweet, but I asked which is better, hot or cold water. And apparently cold water is better for your hair.
Do you know what? Dean said the same to me yesterday as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine washing it. Like, surely it's hot water, surely? I voted hot water.
I voted cold just to be a knob. I was trying to
Well, you still lost.
because there was only one vote at that time and it was 100%, and I was like, well, I'm going to shake things up a bit. My analogy back to Dean when he said cold water is better for your hair was washing up, my favourite pastime, or
Yeah.
my most diligent chore.
Yeah.
Have you washed a plate with cold water? It's a nightmare. You have to do so much scrubbing.
Yeah.
Whereas boiling hot water, it's clean straight off.
I don't get it. But apparently cold water is better for your hair, but I don't know. Again, we've heard a lot of different views.
Yeah.
But I think Kathy's knocked it out of the park by saying, regardless, doesn't matter because cold water's creepier.
Well, that is true.
So, hot water wins. I'm putting it up right there. It actually did win. It won the poll. So,
I mean, it's put 42% of our listener base on blast, but, I mean, it's not us that are doing that.
yeah, so, I mean, there we go. We started an issue and we finished an issue. So,
there we go. Polls.
Polls.
We should do more.
Should we?
Well, we've done 2 today, so,
Oh, I've got to remember what they are. I've got to put them up now. Okay.
We just let people do the hashtag.
yeah, that's fine. Yeah, just that's a lot easier.
Isn't this how Kevin Smith made a film? I don't think we'll go that far.
No, I don't think so. I think that's it for this week.
That is it.
We are back next week.
At the normal time.
Yeah, we'll go back to Wednesdays for this one, as long as Luke doesn't have any more escapades he needs to go on.
Yeah. Frolics.
We are covering, I don't know what episode it is. It's called
Colony.
That's right. So, no idea what that's about.
Insects, maybe?
Yeah, it doesn't really hint at what it could be, but I'm looking forward to it regardless. Hopefully it's a bit better than this episode. Fingers crossed. At least for me, anyway.
Yeah. But to be fair, we've not had too many bad episodes the last few weeks.
I've been very impressed with season 2. I'm really enjoying it so far. I just can't wait to get to the end now. I know it sounds like I'm not wishing the episodes away, but I want more mythology episodes. I'm missing those because we have a lot of Monster of the Week the last couple of weeks. Anyway, we shall talk about that next week. What language do you want to say goodbye in this week,
God,
Luke?
I forgot it was in May.
Have you had a look at the stats of where we getting listens from?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did have a look at the stats.
And so obviously you prepared a language. Whilst Luke is filling for time, flip to the language section of your listener pads.
Yeah.
And get ready for, I think, the 4th or 5th foreign word for goodbye. Yeah. So, Luke.
Tambiet.
Ooh, where's that from?
It's Vietnamese.
Oh.
And we have one listener in Vietnam.
Well, Tambiet to you. Do we know? We don't know his name, do we, or her name? Yeah. Who was the guy that we was?
It was William. Yeah.
Was it William?
Yeah, William in Vietnam.
Yeah, I think it is William. And William, I can still see that you've got your pad out and you're pretending to write it, but you're not actually writing it. Step up next episode. All right, William.
We've left it on a really aggressive note. Tambiet, I guess.
Tambiet. I've got a Polish friend.
Yeah.
That's a sound engineer.
Is he?
Yeah. A Czech one too.
Let's see. We're cancelling it.
A Czech one too. A Czech one too.
All right, don't laugh at your own joke so much.
It was funny. Like a dad joke's not a dad joke if you don't laugh.
Have you written it down? It's a car outside. I'll go and shut the window.
It's all right.
It was open. That was a quick shoot.
Luke's gone to shut the window.
Shut up, man.
And now he's getting aggressive.
I just want to eat my breakfast in peace.
We're calling my podcast in peace. Oh my days. We forgot a major thing. Stop the episode.
Oh, right.
Hot water won.
Oh, yeah? I completely forgot.
Hot water won. Actually, let's wait to the email section.
What a bailout. Fuck that.
It's alright, it's fine. We'll speak to you in a bit.
Well, that's getting cut.
Yeah, cut that bit. Hold the phone.
Actually, no.
Fucking hell, that's the blooper. He grabs Beauvais and asks him for the secrets and tells him his wife is in his hands. That's a bad autocorrect.
Good.
I mean, you would talk, wouldn't you? You would talk. Your wife is in my hands.
Excuse me?
Beauvais just, excuse me? All the air of mystery just disappears.
Your wife is in my hand.
To blow into, that's what he uses to blow, isn't it? The sand.
Sorry, I don't know why that made me laugh then.
That's what they use to blow into his face.
Yeah.
I'm not, how can I say this now? You've ruined it. But I tell you what, talking of magic,
Yeah.
why don't we get to your production notes?
Let's do it.
You know what we remind me of sometimes?
Yeah.
You know, the Lonely Island song, the we like sports and we don't care who knows.
Yeah.
It's like the podcast version of those guys. It's just like this really just terrible.
Imagine if I didn't edit it.
We just put like
There's no really long pause.
it's just checks. Let's get on with the show.
The Haitian refugee camp was shot in a derelict building in the North Vancouver shipyard. While filming the graveyard scenes, sump pumps had to be used because the scene were filmed. Jesus Christ, me. There's so many fucking words. I'm like, what the fuck? Right.
You can cut
From
that
the
one,
top.
that's fine.
From the top.